Hey guys, so now that we're like a bit less than 12 hours away from the Pokemon Presents, as I said in yesterday's video, I'm fully expecting them to show something about Mega Rayquaza or Grid Extension Rayquaza. That is going to be what today's video is about. Which one is more likely, in my opinion, and what each of them will probably end up doing, right? So, Mega Ray versus Grid Extension, right? What does Zinnia need? In my opinion, she doesn't need a Mega. She really doesn't. What she needs is a Grid Extension. Because all that a Mega will do, right? A Mega will replace one move and will increase some stats. So if we go to Mewtwo here, for example, that is the wrong Mewtwo for some fucking reason. All right. So his special attack goes from 520 all the way up to 620. So that's 100. Then you get math work with me here. You got a little less than 100 speed. Yeah. You got a little less than 100 speed and 103 special attack. So and I'm sure he still has the highest base special attack in the game. And confusion becomes Side Strike. Sorry, I was about to say Side Shot. 120 BP, only a little higher than Psychic, but it targets defense rather than special defense, so he's useful. So that's useful against those extreme battles that have higher defense instead of special defense. So it's an either or type thing, but although I wish he had some nodes on here, but whatever. But the passives were not changed. I feel like this is what Rayquaza needs. Because if we were to shift back to Ray here, Ray, Weather Surge 3, which is good, don't get me wrong, because some parts of the grid benefit that. But if she were to become Mega, what would probably happen is Aerial Ace would be replaced with Dragon's Ascent, and she already lowers her defenses so much. Because the only reason why Steven gets away with it is because he has. I'm doing all this on the fly, by the way. He has. Ignore that grid. That was a specific situation I was building for someone. Downside up. So any stat decrease becomes increase. So Draco and Dragon's Ascent, which would be what shares with the other Zinnia. So it's literally a Dragon type Steven. She wouldn't get downside up. Outrage would be your go-to physical move, probably with Clear-Headed. So you'd have CS2. But because of that, you are a split striker. If you want to take advantage of the EX being special. So that's why people are going special for now with Dauntless, because it's consistent. You only need one special attack buffer and crit rate. Crit is another issue for this pair as well. Granted, Eagle Eye, it's not critical focus like Palkia, because Palkia can get his crit rate all the way up. On his own very, very quickly, because Spatial Rend, Sync has an increased chance to crit. Once you crit once, you're guaranteed your +3. Within that next action. So that's something that Rayquaza won't have. And otherwise, they're just trying to build a lesser Steven and Ray if they were to do the Mega route. Grid Extension route, they can salvage this at least and make it more unique. Because the only difference would be 1, stat downs, and 2, wants weather versus no weather. And you would have a stronger Sync Nuke in all honesty. Because you have 300 BP that would be tied to a Mega with weather sync up and more BP nodes. So you would have what? 350. So that'd be something, right? But so she needs Impervious of some kind if she were to be Mega. If Mega were to get Impervious by some fucking miracle, by all means have Mega be a thing, right? But just, I don't know. I think she needs a Grid Extension with Dauntless, some form of Super Prep for your Sync Nuke, or even Impervious in the grid. That's fine. And some other form of crit rate. Because, granted, a crit support is fine. That's fine and dandy. She has Grand Entry. She doesn't have Fierce Entry for some reason. So I would expect them to have some form of attack as well. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing at this point. But yeah, let me know what you think Rayquaza is going to get in during this anniversary, because I want them to do a grid extension, but I think they're going to do Mega for hype. Best case scenario, they give Mega the benefits of having additional passives and stats for both, because if we were to look at not Mewtwo, but who's someone got extended? Actually, I guess I could do Pocket because it's easy. Wrong Palkia, for fuck's sake. The extendeds, you get additional 20. Right? Granted, that's not a Mega evolution. So, Mega, in this instance, would give... let's say, for example, you want to buff up speed a little bit and both offenses. So, I actually think 30-30, 50 would be a good split for a Mega. That might be too little, honestly. But I think 50 would be too much. Because at least Mewtwo has the stats to... Mewtwo has the high special attack, but not a way to ramp it. Mega Rayquaza, if they were to go that route, would have +4 in each without crit rate. So you need a small top off in both. Crit rate being a little bit harder, obviously, but with slightly lower stats than fucking Mega Mewtwo. Because 460 for both, I do think is reasonable, but I think that might be a little bit too much with what's going on here, especially with 60% multiplier, 90 if you go with Weathered Warrior, 80 if you go with Weathered Warrior, then Dragon Zone. Whereas Mega Mewtwo just has Psychic Terrain with no real additional multipliers besides CS3 in the grid. But then otherwise it's just debuff orientated stuff. Like, for example, Smarty Pants and Brain Teaser. Debuff related stuff, especially for special defense, is not as easy to achieve. Like, you're stuck with 1, 1, 1. Okay, you can use Fake Tears, and I think some Eggmons have Metal Sound, and we have Latios now, so it's a little easier to practice, but it's not as easy of a setup as literally just have Weather, then an additional zone. You could set them in 2 turns. But because that Rayquaza would have to be your sole DPS, unless if you run Leafeon, for example, and have that be your Sync Nuke, and you just run Weather Surge. So that it's another DPS. It's an idea. What weather setters are Dragon? None come to the tip of my head. No, I don't think any. We just have Dragon Zone. Kingdra benefits off Rain. So you would play it in a similar style to Kingdra. So Chris would be a great augmenter for Rayquaza. Like, anyone especially, honestly. But once again, this is assuming they do grid extension. Like, I think grid extension would fix this pair way better than a Mega would. Mega, they would have to go over the top and do so much shit for this. So yeah, I know I said this a little bit before, but let me know what you want Rayquaza to do, whether it be grid extension, Mega, and give examples. Because I listed, I think, everything in game that really pertains to this based off free-to-play examples. Because I know Megas change passives for other pairs. But this is a free pair, and the only other Mega we have, to my knowledge, from a free pair is Mewtwo. Unless if... I'm thinking of one off the tip of my head. Does Beedrill change? Beedrill gets amped up. So by all means, add something with that, and he gained 80 attack up to 500. With a little less than 100 speed as well. So if they want to do that, I guess they could, but my thing is that he's a mixed striker if they were to go Mega. So balance both stats a little bit. Instead of pushing it strictly into 2, it'd be balancing it into 3. But that's my opinion at the end of the day. If you guys think that's... If you guys want to call my opinion shit, by all means. Like we'll find out tomorrow, right? So yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.